Hello, and welcome to another video. And in this one, I am reviewing these Aquarelle pencils from L'Artist by Printworks that I brought from my local art gallery. So I went to the art gallery and I saw this in the gift shop, and I thought, well, I should test them out. So there are 12 water-soluble pencils here, and I decided to swatch them out and see how they go. Now, firstly, I did just use the Fabriano 1264 paper that I've used for a couple of different swatching videos now because I do quite like it. Um, but these pencils weren't named in any particular way, so they didn't have any name or even any number. They just are what they are. So I did find out a little bit about the brand. So Printworks is a Swedish brand founded in 2017, and they make mostly decorations like coffee table photo albums, board games, puzzles, portable lamps, and other home decor items. They are very, very beautiful items. I had a look on their website. They're very that kind of neutral aesthetic. But they do make some other art supplies, including colored pencils, graphite pencils, metallic pencils, neon pencils, skin color pencils. That's all their 12 set pencil brands. They also make 300 GSM hot press A4 watercolor paper and 150 GSM A4 drawing paper, as well as a set of 24 watercolor pans. Um, but they don't advertise that they create art supplies very much, so that's clearly not their main focus. Um, and as you can see here, the watercolor pencils are very, very pale when washed out, and pigment isn't all picked up. They are not the best. Um, they're actually some of the worse watercolor pencils I have used, and these were $30, and they were at my local art gallery. So that's a bit disappointing. Um, they're not what I wouldn't really recommend these pencils as they are. The way I found to get the best color from them was to scrape off the pigment as I'm doing here. I don't think I scraped up enough for the purple, but yeah, the way to get the best, richest pigment is to scrape off the pigment from the pencil lead and use it that way, because otherwise you don't get a very good coverage at all, and it does not pick up very well. It sticks to the grooves in the paper, um, and it's yeah, quite disappointing. So I wouldn't recommend these really to anyone because at the price point of $30, they're a little too expensive, I think, just to get as a fun present for kids. Um, Now obviously they're not at the super high end, so they are affordable, but for what you get, they very much remind me of Typo pencils from that brand, and they're significantly cheaper. You can get a 24 set, so double the amount for about $20, or it might be up to 30 now. I'm not sure. With the cost of living rising and all that, but still, you get more pencils with the same result. So if you wanted to get kids something like that, that's what I would go with. If you wanted to get pencils, there are much better options out there. I will always go for Jazz Arts for an affordable option. Um, so yeah, I don't recommend these, and so I think that might be why the brand doesn't advertise very particularly that they do make art supplies. Um, Now I haven't checked out their pencils or their paper, their other pencils, I should say. I just grabbed these ones because I know that watercolor is hard to get right. Um, so I thought it would be a good test, but my local art gallery is selling these, so it is a bit of a disappointment when they are selling art supplies that aren't that good. So I wouldn't recommend you buy these for their price point. Um, Also, I was scrolling through their social medias because I just wanted to know when they started doing art supplies, if it was at the same time that they started the company or if that came later. I didn't find out that information because I'm not a much of a researcher, so I didn't delve too deep into things. But I did find, however, that on their Instagram, they used the same picture to promote these watercolor pencils 20 weeks ago, 39 weeks ago, and 55 weeks ago. I'm not sure if that's standard practice in advertising social medias for businesses to use like the exact same photo, exact same angle, and very, very similar, if not the exact same caption. So I don't know. I don't follow a lot of that stuff. Doesn't if anyone else knows anything about that, leave down below. That's just like a personal interest. Like, is that a common practice? Um, but yeah, so I thought I'd do a bit of an abstract drawing because I thought that might work out better than a proper ad or proper drawing with these pencils, just to try and see how it would go. And I actually don't mind the end result too much. So for this sort of abstract work, I will use these. It's a really nice tin. Like the tin is really, really pretty. I can't see it being very easy to get this effect. You would have to scrape the pencils off, and that is quite time consuming. Sorry, scrape the pigment off the pencils. And a lot of it to get that sort of effect. But it is a really nice tin. Um, it's a very aesthetic and it does match the brand's aesthetic. So if you had it on a coffee table, it would look good. But we are trying to go beyond looking good with art supplies. I want to actually use them. I have held on to things for ages. I want to use them now. No more holding on to things. Now I have used these to do sketches for my on canvases for my acrylic paintings because they do go away quite nicely when you color over them, not like graphite that can linger. So that's good, but I could use any watercolor pencil really for that. So I don't have any particular reason to have these over other brands. Again, Jazz Arts is a really good, affordable brand. Um, there are lots out there. I have not tried them all. I have I also have the Faber-Castell watercolor pencils, and they're really nice, but they are very expensive, and they make me nervous to use them because of their price point. But I mean, if you don't want to go for uh, super colored drawings, you're happy with like a lot of um, pencil marks and white space, and you're going for a bit more unusual pieces like this, then these pencils do work pretty well. So there's not like they're unworkable. You can work with them. I have had really, really, really cheap watercolor pencils that are not usable for their watercolor purpose and barely worth using them for even just colored pencils. Um, but as far as it goes, I won't be repurchasing these when I know that there are better things out there. Um, I'm still glad that I got them, so I can talk to them about other people's. And it did show me the brand Printworks. They do have some really nice stuff. They have a very, very um attractive Connect 4 game. It is in very muted shades, So if you're one of those there's like the beige parents where everything in the house is beige, you can have a Connect 4 game. Uh, that looks very aesthetically pleasing and is not in those garish colors like the traditional blue board and bright red and bright yellow coins. This is like a beige board with pale pink and pale brown, um, or more of a dusty pink, pale brown, um, little disc to use. Um, Now I do think kids need color. It's a lot more fun to have color. Maybe if you're an adult who likes games, I think that that would be fun. I can definitely see my best friend really liking some of this stuff. Um, so they do nice decorations, definitely. So I'm definitely gonna link them below. Um, if you probably have easier access to it if they're in the UK. I haven't even checked to see if they ship over here to Australia. And if they do, it's probably very, very high shipping. They just happen to be in my local art gallery, though I know they can be purchased through Kiki K, which is another stationery brand in Australia. I don't go there very often because they are quite pricey. Um, they're quite pricey when it comes to uh, pretty much everything. When it comes to stationery, you can get much better, cheaper stuff elsewhere. But you go to Kiki K for, I guess, the brand name. And it is again that very aesthetic style of um, I don't know, neat colors. It's all very neat. Um, but yes, very pricey. I don't know if I've ever actually brought anything from there, but I do like going in there and having a look at that stuff. Though I don't remember ever seeing these in here, but I don't have a Kiki K locally, so I don't go to it very often. In any case, you can buy this here locally. You just have to look around. Um, if you are in Australia, that is, that's what I mean by local. If you are new to my channel, I am Australian. When I say local, I mean in Australia. Uh, but yeah, overall, Printworks seems like a very good company for decor, not so much for art supplies. And that's mainly my takeaway from this. Still had a lot of fun working on this drawing. It's different and interesting, and I haven't drawn a lot of people lately. If you don't keep up practicing things, you kind of forget how, and I really, really struggled with what are the proportions of people again. It's been several months since I've drawn a person because I've been just really enjoying sceneries. Um, And it's funny because I used to pretty much only draw people. Like that was what I used to draw all the time. And you leave it alone for a little while and it's like, oh no, how do people, how do you put a nose on a face? What is wait a minute, I don't understand anything. Um, that was basically my thought process through all this. But I think it turned out pretty cool. I'm I'm quite happy with it. And the kind of washed out pigment residue works for an art style like this. But if I had have wanted to do a scenery with these pencils, it would not have been, uh, wouldn't have been very good, I imagine. They're just too washed out. And that's really not what I want from my watercolor pencils. I think it's easier to draw lighter and get less color, if that is what I'm after, than it is to make more color appear. Um, because there's only so much you can draw in one spot before it just ruins the paper. The water won't pick up any of the pigment. Um, and yeah, I don't know, it's easier to go softer than it is to go harder, in my personal opinion. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you've used any of the other supplies from Lartis by Printworks. If you have any decor from Printworks. Um, if you've never heard of this brand before and you are interested in trying it for yourself, even after hearing my opinions, which is absolutely fine. If you've seen these in your local art galleries around the area, um, and thought to get them or thought not to get them for whatever reason, yeah, just let me know any of your thoughts down below. I do really like talking and commenting and interacting with you people. You always have such nice things to say, or you have really good advice sometimes. So I know I'm sort of like struggling with art and everything, and some people do have really good things to say that really help out. Um, Take me in sort of directions that I want to try new things. Um, but yeah, so I've definitely missed that while I've been away, but I am working on doing one video a week again and trying to stick to that. But yeah, let me know if there's anything you want to see. I do have a few more hauls coming up because I did have a birthday, and I did buy myself a few things to grow my collection, so I will have some more hauls. Um, but yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and if I'm lucky, see you in the next one. Bye bye.